Daily Rundown with me, Fiona Fox. Now, a few months ago I interviewed some of the women from WASPI, or Women Against State Pension Inequality, and we had such a huge response from viewers that we've brought them back in again for an update ahead of their demo this Wednesday. So I'm joined now by Wendy, Marina and Jan. Ladies,
hello.
You're very, very welcome.
Hi, thank you.
And thanks so much for coming back in, because I know that you are super busy, and you have been. You've got a demo coming up on Wednesday. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But tell us, maybe give us a very brief reminder to anyone who might have missed the last interview what WASPI is, and then tell us what's been happening since you were in the studio last.
Right, well, WASPI was started over 12 months ago by 5 women who met on the internet. They all realised that when they reached 60 they couldn't actually get the state pension, and they'd got to wait till they were 63, 4, 5, 6. And they got together to see what they could do about it, because we've always been brought up all our working life to believe at 60 we could get our state pension. We've got 45 years national insurance in, and it came as a tremendous shock when we found out we couldn't. I only found out 2 years before my 60th birthday.
Right.
And I got a letter from the DWP which I thought was a mistake. In 1995 the government changed it, and they were putting the age up from 60 to 65 to bring equalisation in, which we totally agree with. It changed again in 2011. The coalition government put it up to 66. But the problem was the government failed to inform people of this. It took them 14 years after 1995 to inform the first lot of women that they've got to wait for the state pension.
Right.
So of course it was a tremendous shock, and when you think you're going to retire at 60 and you suddenly find out you can't, you've got to try and make financial plans for your retirement, which is very difficult to do, because some people are actually reaching the 60th birthday and they still think they can get the state pension, and sadly they can't.
So the communication wasn't there. So yeah, like you said, you have people coming up to their birthdays, and obviously people maybe provided for themselves with this in mind, and made their plans.
Absolutely.
That sort of thing. So there's a huge shortfall there, wasn't there?
Yes.
But it only affects a certain number of women, doesn't it, though? So do you feel like that kind of, I mean, I know it's still a large amount of you, but do you feel that it's been harder because there'll be some people who won't get on board because maybe it doesn't affect them, for example, or has that been a little bit harder to your case or not?
Well, from 6th of April 1951, it affects anyone born after that date.
It's everyone.
It does affect people. But the thing is, in years to come, people are going to be all right because they know they can't get the pension.
That's what I meant, really. Yeah.
So it is going to affect people, but our generation, it affects us more because we had no notification or very little notification. When from being 15 years old and starting work, you think at 60 years old you're going to get your state pension, and sadly you're not going to get it anymore. Women
coming right up to that point, right up to that birthday, and realising that it's actually not going to happen for quite a few years as well. I mean, that's quite a few years for them to keep working when maybe you haven't got the provisions for it in place. So you've had a very, very successful campaign. You've had lots of support, including the channel here as well. You were in with us a few months ago, like I said. We had a huge positive response, and I think the clip went viral basically, and you had lots of retweets and that. So what's been happening kind of in the meantime? Last time you were in here, it was the fabulous video of you all singing.
Absolutely,
which was written by yourself, wasn't it?
Well, we're actually taking that choir and an actual bigger choir of 200 to Westminster on Wednesday. So I'll pass you to Marina to tell you about that.
This is your part. This is your area, Marina.
All right. Well, the WASPI women have arranged a demo in London, starting at 12 noon this Wednesday, the 29th. As Wendy said, there's already 200 in the choir and hundreds upon hundreds more women. It's impossible to say the exact numbers yet, but there's coaches and trains coming from all over the country with women going dressed in their WASPI clothes.
All the gear.
Yes.
Get
So
the brand out.
London will see us, they'll know who, there'll be no mistaken.
And if they didn't before, they will from Wednesday, I think, won't they, by the sounds of it as well.
They'll be able to recognise us going through Euston Station. And
we've all got banners and everything made.
It's a big movement, but I mean, like, it's deservedly so, obviously, because it is a very serious subject, and like you've been responsible for kind of bringing this awareness to so many women, and to everybody else as well, because like it's not just it affects everybody, that, you know, we obviously the partners of women affected by this, the families of women affected by this. Joanna, you're kind of representing in a different way, aren't you?
Slightly, yes.
But still representing.
Almost certainly, yes. Been part of WASPI for about 12 months now.
Right.
I got my letter at 57th birthday, came home from school. It hadn't been an easy day in school, so to get a letter to say that my pension age had gone up to 66 wasn't the best thing by any stretch of the imagination. And like the ladies have said, it's really finding at this stage that you've only got 3 years to be able to make up that shortfall for another 6 years. So that in itself wasn't very good. I have supported everything that's been happening with WASPI, and one thing that has come out really is that because many women aren't on social media, maybe not very conversant with the computers and things like this, so they're not aware. So it's really been going out into the highways and byways to try and get that awareness out there. We had an awareness event in Wigan on Friday. Our MP came as well, and really just to try and get things moving and to try and get people to understand what's actually happening. And I think really in many ways, I know that it is for the 1950s ladies, but my concern is also our children and our grandchildren. I am retired and I am able to do the school run and things like this, but there's so many women who are still working and I can't go on Wednesday. I've a grandchild in the afternoon and I'm picking up another grandchild from school. I have a mum who's got vascular dementia, so that again can be phone calls and one thing and another, just trying to keep her in her own home. So really with that, what I'm trying to do is publicise how many ladies aren't actually able to go to the demonstration, but who are completely and absolutely supportive. Like Wendy said, the 5 ladies who started it, and everybody's sort of come on board now and started to run with it. I thought I was the only one who was complaining about this with not getting the pension, but of course that's not the case.
One of very many, obviously.
Absolutely.
And I think what you just described there, Jan, as well, it really, really sort of shows the reality of that age group of women, isn't it? They're grandmothers. They still have parents, they have elderly parents who need to be looked after. This is just an extra hardship, really, for certain.
In many ways, we are the big society that's been hyped about. We are the ones who are doing the school runs, looking after grandchildren, looking after the elderly, our relatives, sort of sandwich generation, if you will. And I don't think really in many ways that has been recognised down in Parliament. It was all statistics and data, but not actually looking behind to see how people are suffering. You've got a lot of people who are in jobs that they're not really able to do very well physically now, and you've got a lot of people who are struggling financially, that it's coming up to 60, they've been made redundant, not able to get other jobs. And there's a lot of ladies who aren't able to go down to London on Wednesday because of the financial aspect. They haven't got the money, they're not well enough to be able to do it, and also the caring sort of side of it as well. And I think really for London to realise, for the demo that there are so many of us behind who are completely and absolutely supporting.
Well, I imagine they'll feel it, but that's a certain one.
Well, we went to the Liverpool forum not that long ago. Quite a lot of us went to that, and I think it was one of the MPs there, George Howarth, who said it's actually a debt of honour that we are owed. It isn't just something that we're asking for that we're not due to.
Of course,
it is something that we've worked for. I've got 40 years national insurance, and like many of the other ladies, then finding at this late stage that the state pension isn't going to be paid.
It's probably pulling the rug from under their feet,
does.
isn't it? Their
Absolutely.
Well, tell us I know it's going to be a big day for you on Wednesday. What's the itinerary? What's the kind of plan? You're meeting at 12.
High noon.
High noon.
High noon.
My day starts earlier because Marina and I, we've got radio before we go, and then
busy day of media.
Busy day, meeting women on the station. A lot of women, they're actually coming on their own, and these are women who actually thought they were isolated. They thought nobody else knew about this.
Those affected.
They thought there was only them affected, and to find that there's all this support and we can come together and unite. But can I just say, for people who can't get to London, there are people doing small local demos, like Jan will be wearing a sash that day to support us. So the home team are supporting us wherever they are. But for people all to come together, the atmosphere is going to be absolutely amazing.
I can imagine.
There's hundreds of us travelling on trains.
And you're bringing the choir. The choir's going down as well. So the song, your song's going to be...
my anthem will be sung. My MP will be there. Loads of MPs will be there.
Sorry, because that's something I wanted to point out. You do have the support of quite a lot of MPs.
Oh, very much so. Yes.
Media, there are various media personalities as well. Who did you mention earlier on?
John Bakewell.
John Bakewell as well.
Absolutely, yes.
So I think it is important. It's not, like I said, it's not just women. And I do want to kind of stress that because I know when I said earlier on, I just worded that badly. I think that it's not... It doesn't affect many women. That's not really what I meant. What I meant was it's affected by the communication. But this does actually affect everybody. It affects all the women going forward.
You've got husbands who are having to work longer because wives aren't working, or knowing that this is going to be much later when they actually get the state pension. So it does affect families very much.
And the fact that we've highlighted this, it won't happen to the next generation again, because everybody has been made aware. Unfortunately, we are suffering because of it. Hopefully the government will do something to help us, but it will never happen again. Women will be notified in the future, and they will know what the state pension age should be.
And we all because of you, ladies. On behalf of everybody, I'd say thanks very much. The very best of luck for you all on Wednesday. If people want information, they can just do a quick WASPI Google, I'm sure.
That's right, and it will all come up. But thank you for giving us this platform to be able to do it.
Happy to. Well done, ladies. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
We're going to go for a quick break. When I come back, David and Nina will be back with their Something to Say. See you soon.